There are thousands of plant species across the African continent, and most of them just sit there photosynthesizing, minding their own business. A few of them will give you a rash, and then there are the ones that were turned into arrow poison, courtroom trials, and Cold War assassination weapons. These are the 7 levels of deadliest plants in Africa. Level 1, the candelabra tree. The candelabra tree looks like something out of a Windows desktop background. Tall, sculptural, cactus-shaped, dominating the African savanna skyline like it was placed there by an architect. It is not decoration. Every single branch is packed with a caustic white latex that acts like a chemical weapon disguised as landscaping. Get it on your skin and you'll have blisters within minutes. Get it in your eyes and you may never see again. Local communities figured out 3 completely different uses for this sap independently across the continent. Arrow poison for big game. A fish poison where crushed branches get thrown into a pool to stun the fish, so they float to the surface. And a living fence, because no animal on Earth wants to push through a wall of spiny branches that burn on contact. The Khoisan called it nap, meaning powerful. Here's the twist. During a severe 1997 drought in Malawi, black rhinos in Liwan National Park survived by eating candelabra trees for the moisture inside, one of the only animals desperate or immune enough to risk it. Same plant, keeps rhinos alive, blinds everything else. The candelabra tree isn't trying to kill you, it's just standing there, looking architectural, waiting for you to get too close. Level 2, Gifblar. Gifblar is a small, unremarkable, low-growing shrub in northern South Africa that looks like nothing. It is one of the deadliest plants a farmer can find on their land. About 20 grams of dried leaf, roughly a handful, is enough to kill a full-grown cow. The poison, sodium fluoroacetate, works by hijacking the Krebs cycle and jamming an enzyme called aconitis, shutting down cellular energy production completely. Here's the unsettling part. It's chemically one atom away from vinegar. Swap a single hydrogen for a fluorine, and you've turned a kitchen staple into a livestock killer. Cattle that eat a sublethal dose can look completely fine, then drop dead the moment they drink water or exert themselves, because exertion is what finally triggers cardiac failure. And it doesn't stop at the cow. Fluoroacetate doesn't break down in the body, so if a predator or scavenger eats a poison carcass, it gets poisoned too. Nature's only poison with a built-in food chain. A 1996 national survey found Gifblar responsible for roughly 8% of all South African cattle deaths from poisonous plants, most of it in Limpopo. Farmers today are still trying to breed bacteria that can neutralize it. This isn't ancient history, it's an active agricultural war. Level 3, the Calabar bean. In the Calabar region of southeastern Nigeria, this climbing vine produces a kidney-shaped seed that was once used by the Efik people as a literal trial by poison. An accused person drank a crushed infusion of the bean. Vomit it up and survive, you're innocent. Fail to vomit, you're guilty, by definition. 19th century missionary estimates put the death toll at roughly 120 people a year in the Calabar region alone. Here's the loophole nobody was supposed to know about. Prisoners who learned to swallow the bean whole without chewing sometimes avoided releasing enough toxin to kill them. A hidden cheat code buried inside a supposedly divine trial. The poison itself, physostigmine, was isolated in 1864 and became one of the most important discoveries in the history of pharmacology. The first plant alkaloid shown to inhibit cholinesterase, a foundational concept in modern neuroscience. It's still used today as a glaucoma treatment and as the antidote for atropine overdoses. Its structure directly inspired rivastigmine, a drug prescribed for Alzheimer's disease right now. A 19th century witchcraft trial poison is the molecular ancestor of a medication sitting in your grandmother's pill organizer. Level 4, the Bushman poison bulb. This fan-leaf bulb from southern Africa might be the oldest weaponized poison plant ever confirmed on the planet. In 2025, archaeologists analyzing microlithic arrowheads from the Umlatuzana rock shelter in South Africa found chemical residue from this exact bulb, dated to roughly 60,000 years ago. The oldest direct evidence of poison weapons anywhere in the world. If human history were a 24-hour clock, gunpowder shows up in the final minutes. This poison bulb was already in use before midnight even started. Its genus name literally translates to ox death, a nod to cattle that died grazing on it. The San and Khoi used it to bring down large game like eland with a single arrow. But it wasn't just a weapon. A roughly 2,000-year-old mummified sand body found in the Bavians Kloof Mountains was wrapped in its leaves as part of a burial ritual, and traditional healers still use tiny doses today in a diagnostic trance practice. The plant that armed the earliest known poison arrows in human history is now classified as declining in the wild. We may lose the plant that started it all before we ever fully understand it. Level 5, the poison arrow tree and the rat that steals it. This East African tree, along with its relatives Strophanthus and the desert rose, produces cardiac glycosides potent enough that hunters historically used it to fell elephants, and every animal except hippos, with a single arrow wound. The toxin, awabain, has a lethal human dose of roughly 1 milligram if injected, one of the most potent cardiac poisons known to science. Explorer David Livingstone documented its use along the Zambezi in the 1860s, and his companion Dr. John Kirk personally climbed one of these trees to collect pods, despite local hunters warning him he could poison himself just by touching the sap. Here's the wildest fact on this entire list. The African crested rat is the only mammal on Earth confirmed to steal a plant's toxin for its own defense. It gnaws the bark of this exact tree, chews it into a paste, and deliberately grooms the poison into specialized hairs on its own flanks, turning its fur into a weapon strong enough to kill a dog, or reportedly even an elephant, with a bite. And the rat appears immune to the very poison it's smearing on itself. Scientists only caught this behavior on video and confirmed it in 2020, after decades of it being dismissed as folklore. A soldier who doesn't build a weapon just steals the enemy's landmine and duct tapes it to their own jacket. That's the crested rat's entire survival strategy. Level 6, the tangina tree. In Madagascar, the seed of this coastal tree became the centerpiece of one of history's most devastating trial-by-ordeal traditions. The accused drank a solution of shaved tangina nut, then swallowed pieces of chicken skin. Vomit the chicken skin back up, you're innocent. Fail, you're guilty, and often executed on the spot, regardless of whether the poison itself had actually killed you. The death toll estimates are almost hard to say out loud. Roughly 1,000 people a year in the early 1800s, escalating to over 3,000 a year at points, with one historian's contested estimate putting the total as high as 100,000 deaths in the single year of 1838, under the reign of Queen Ranavalona I. At its peak, this ordeal may have killed as much as 2% of the entire population of central Madagascar, every single year. Central Madagascar's population is estimated to have collapsed from roughly 5 million people in 1833 to about 2.5 million by 1839. And here's the part that's almost harder to process than the death toll. Belief in the ordeal's fairness ran so deep that some innocent people volunteered for the test themselves, confident it would prove them right. It wasn't just justice, it became a tool of political control, wielded against entire rival provinces, until it was officially banned in 1863, though evidence suggests it quietly continued in remote areas for decades after. Level 7, the castor bean. Believed to have originated in the highlands of Ethiopia and East Africa, the castor bean plant is grown worldwide today for ornamental gardens and castor oil. Its raw, unprocessed seed contains ricin, one of the most notorious plant toxins ever identified, and Africa's most globally infamous poisonous export. It takes as few as 1 or 2 chewed seeds to kill a child, 4 to 8 to kill an adult. Purified, as little as half a milligram can kill you. Ricin shuts down a cell's ability to manufacture protein entirely, and to this day, there's no antidote. It became globally infamous in 1978, when Bulgarian dissident journalist Georgi Markov was killed in London by a modified umbrella that fired a pinhead-sized pellet, just 1.7 millimeters wide, loaded with roughly 0.2 milligrams of ricin, into his leg at a bus stop. He died 4 days later. Investigators couldn't even identify the poison until they injected the same estimated dose into a pig, which died within 24 hours, showing identical symptoms. The case is widely believed to be a KGB-assisted operation, and the killer was never publicly identified. Ricin has resurfaced repeatedly since, including in ricin-laced letters mailed to a sitting U.S. president. And here's the detail that should genuinely unsettle you. Roughly 1 million tons of castor beans are processed globally every year for oil, and the leftover waste mash from that entirely legal industrial process is up to 5% ricin by weight. The raw material for a documented assassination weapon is a byproduct sitting inside a completely ordinary global supply chain right now. 7 plants. 7 completely different ways to die, from a burning eye to an unsolvable Cold War murder mystery. And the strangest part of this whole list isn't how many of these plants can kill you. It's how many of them, in a modified form, are the reason someone's medicine cabinet works at all. Nature doesn't really do safe or dangerous. It just does chemistry, and it's up to us what we do with it. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you get notified when we drop new videos.